Okay,
Okay, got it.
so
Yes, hi.
let me get everything going. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, mothers and others. We just kind of did a little preview of what we did this weekend, which is we went to Eagle Pass, and that was very successful. And now we're here for the chapter meeting. So go ahead, Neetha, take it away.
Yeah, we have a couple new chapter leaders tonight joining us. So I wanted to recognize them. And also, if we have anyone that wants to introduce themselves, feel free to do that right now. We have Susan here. She's brand new, representing Pflugerville. And we have Teresa over here. She doesn't have her camera on, but she is representing Cedar Park. So we have a couple new chapters. Does anyone want to introduce themselves tonight? Tell us what chapter you're in.
Okay, I invited Kimberly Sawyer, and she is not in a chapter in particular, but would like to volunteer and be involved.
Okay, welcome,
So
Kimberly.
Kimberly, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm located in North Texas, so I may get plugged into the chapter, but more interested in working on some of the special projects that Nancy called out in her most recent video on Facebook. So
Okay, welcome.
thank you.
Anyone else want to say hello?
I mean, I guess I can say hello. I'm Erin Mulholland, and on Facebook, I'm Erin Wilson. And I recently stepped up to be the co-leader for the Houston region, but I'm also the chapter leader for the Montgomery County chapter.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm Susan Stewart, and I just stepped into this role, so I'm still really new and feeling my way through it. But I'm Pflugerville, Wells Branch area, kind of north of Austin. And I'm excited to see where this goes and what we can get going, because after 2022, when Abbott won, it was like, hell no, we're not doing this again. So
Yeah, and you said there's a lot of people telling you that they're still tired. And so we need to get people to wake up. We cannot be tired. We need to move on. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you
next
so
slide,
much.
Neetha, you think?
Yes, okay.
yeah.
So let's talk about the expectations of a chapter leader. We have a few of you on tonight, but we're recording this so we can also send it to the other chapter leaders that couldn't be with us. So our expectation is that you do attend our one chapter meeting every month. We're going to record them, so if you can't come, we ask that you do watch it on the recording that will be sent out the next day. That you also have one chapter meeting per month with your own chapter. That can be in person, that can be on Zoom. It can be just a social gathering. You can host speakers. Sky's the limit. But please make sure you are meeting with your group once a month. It's very important that we are building up our army now so that we are ready for 2024, but it starts now. Communicate with your members. Make sure that if we give you a call to action, which we haven't done lately, but if we do, please communicate that within 24 hours to your members. We are using you as a person, as our chapter leader, and we want to make sure that this information gets spread to your members as well. Recruiting MAGA the Good. You can also recruit on our Facebook page. If you have a Mobilize, and we're going to talk about Mobilize here in a bit, if you have an event coming up, we have vetted these people. So if you have an event in, I'm going to use you, Erin, Montgomery County, we can put your event on Facebook, and that's how people will know about you and we can grow your group. So let's talk about Mobilize, because we do want you to use Mobilize. I put my email in the chat. So write that down if you don't have it, info@mothersagainstgregabbott.com. I need to set you up on Mobilize if you're not already set up. We give you permission to work as a team with us. But some important things about Mobilize is that you need to put your chapter in the title. Otherwise, it looks like Nancy's doing it. Last weekend, I did one at Cedar Park for a read-in, the library event. And so if we don't put Cedar Park chapter, it looks like we are a Texas overall Nancy event. So please make sure your chapter name is on there so people understand. And we had press there. So as the chapter leader, you may need to speak for us. and we trust you to do that. But we do want to know about your events in advance. We ask that you send your mobilize to us. If you're creating events, we have to know if Nancy gets a call that the police showed up at the library because of my event, could have happened, that she needs to know that we're having that event at the library. So we do ask that you run your events by us because our name is going to be all over it. It says very big letters that this event is held by Mothers Against Greg Abbott. And there's probably very little we would say no to. So just please let us know and give us a couple days before you actually send out the event, and we will say good to go. You don't need to send me your chapter meetings, although they should be on Mobilize. So do your meetings on Mobilize, and that gives them reminders. So you don't have to do that. We're also asking, this is something new for us, tabling at events. Think about this fall with your group when you're meeting. What can we do to spread our message? Where can we put up tables at fairs, et cetera? Find places that are free. We have nonprofit status. So if you can get a booth for a nonprofit, represent us, we can be VDR, voter deputy registrars, increase our membership, we can sell our products. So let's be thinking about how we can get out there and support Mothers Against Greg Abbott, because we are putting a lot of effort into the chapters and we love our chapters. We want to keep growing our chapters, but we have to have more events. We have to have exposure. We need to have people meeting and doing things. And there's a few opportunities we're going to talk about here in a couple minutes. But some other things that we need to be doing is partnering with our local partners. For example, we're asking each of you, each chair, to contact your county chair, you're the DIM, at the DIM party, and ask them what seats are open. What seats can a DIM run for? What precinct chairs are open? What seats are open? Because as chapter leaders, we need to know what's in our area, because we need to be asking our members, is there anyone that can consider being a precinct chair? Oh, hey, Maria, looks like your precinct is open, because at least 1/3 of seats are open. In my area, Cedar Park, Leander, we had someone come to a chapter meeting last week and we have half of our seats open. We have to be showing up, and you may not want to be a precinct chair. We're not saying that you need to, but we're asking that you talk to your members at your meetings every time. Talk to them about what it means to be a precinct chair. So we're going to talk about that in a minute, about what it is to be a precinct chair, because you have to understand that, and you can print this out and take it to your meetings as well to talk to them. Texting campaigns, postcards, and letter writing. We're going to talk about a postcard event that we have that we're asking all of our chapters to do, and we're going to talk about that very soon. And get out the vote. That's also very important for Mothers Against Greg Abbott. So we're going to talk about that. Next slide. Here is what is a precinct chair. And I'm not going to go through all of this. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me if you want this slide to print to take to your people. This gives you an idea of how to talk to your members. We have all of these precincts open. So once you talk to the county chair, and we are asking you to reach out to the county chair and ask them what precinct spots are open so that you can take that information to your meetings. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. And this also tells you about how to become a precinct chair. So when people ask questions, I might consider it. You know, most of the seats are not going to be, there's not going to be anyone else running for them. So it's going to be an automatic. People are afraid. My own best friend recently became a precinct chair, and she was afraid to run for a public office, but there's no one else opposing her. So she's going to be in that seat. So she got over that fear. So we need to be knowledgeable about what is a precinct chair, how do you become a precinct chair, and helping our members to consider doing it. Okay, let me know if you have any questions before. Okay, next slide. So get out the vote. That's something that's very important. And on September 19th is actually National Voter Registration Day. So we have a chapter challenge. We want you to recruit as many new VDRs as possible before National Voter Registration Day on September 19th. So I find the easiest way to do it You can always go through your county, and I don't know every individual county's process. Most counties you have to go in person, and they'll have 1 or 2 a month. But Travis County, they will allow you to take one on their Zoom, or you can do it asynchronous on your own time, just watching the video. If you live in, you see Travis, Bastrop, Blanco, Burnett, Caldwell, Hayes, Lee, or Williamson. It is super simple. If you live in one of those counties, 30 minutes, take the test, and you get your certificate in your email. And then all you have to do is go to any county in Texas and show them your certificate, and you will also be a VDR in their county. If you're in any other county, you can still do it through Travis County. You just need to sign up for a Zoom meeting. And I have listed the dates here. A couple of those have twice a day, a morning and a night. But the current dates in August and September, and all of those will be done before. So at your next meeting, if you can encourage all your members to become VDRs. The best thing is, if they become a VDR right now, it goes all the way through the election in November 2024. They won't have to do anything else. We can register people, and we can be doing that at events. Okay, thank you. Next slide. I said postcard writing party. We need your help. We need your help to say no to vouchers. So we want to have all 57 of our chapters planning a postcard writing party. And this is going to be in September. So let's get it on the calendar now. And then let me know the date that you have planned. Let me know how many people you think you're going to have, and we're going to mail you the postcards. Nancy's buying the postcards. We're saying no to vouchers. And last time I heard from Nancy, we're not sure which way we're going yet, Nancy, right? If we're going to be writing our legislators or asking constituents to write.
Yeah, I think we still need a little bit more time.
Okay, but plan your parties now, get them on your calendar. Cedar Park, brand new chapter. We already have our postcard writing event is on September 13th in the evening. So it's not too early to get it on your calendar now, and hold off on mailing them. We're not going to mail them until we hear from when our great old Greg Abbott is going to decide for that special session. So we'll be mailing them in October, but we're writing them in September. So ask your members to bring a roll of stamps to the party. It's usually not a problem. If any of your chapters cannot financially do that, or people aren't bringing stamps, let us know, and we can probably help you out with the stamps, but ask them if they'd be willing to bring a roll of stamps. So plan your parties now, get that on the calendar, and request supplies. Again, there's my email address. Next slide.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, we talked about this last month and we are still working on it. We are almost finished with our college list. We've had some great volunteers working on that one, but we have a lot more lists to do. So our next priority is going to be the top 2. We have the press list and the grassroots organizations. So we need people to be helping us. The press list is about 500 items on there, and it's updating it. It's updating, does Joe Schmo still work at KXAN? If not, who took his place? Updating that, and then grassroots organizations. When you're speaking to the chair, when you call your county Democrat chair, you can ask them, what grassroots organizations are active right now? Have any new ones popped up since the last election? We want to know. We want to know what kind of grassroots organizations are happening around the state. So help us update that. If you have members that you know would enjoy this type of thing, please send them our way. And this is also asking your members, what grassroots organizations have they heard about recently?
Yeah,
Okay,
that
so-
includes Democratic clubs too.
Yeah. So any information of people that we can partner with, people that have the same message, send it to us. We want to get this list as thorough as possible. So those are the 2 we're going to focus on right now. And we have, like I said, 57 chapters in our state. So we should have the volunteers. We just need you as chapter leaders to be talking to your members and asking them, who has time? Who can help us?
Okay,
Okay.
and I do have a list of the current, I have a list of the current precinct chairs. And I have a list of the current Democratic county chairs. So those ones are done. And then the school ISDs are just about done. We just need to take the list that we had from the last election and go through it and then do some updates, but it's pretty close to being done as well. And it shouldn't take somebody a very long time. We can just kind of like go through it really quickly and just put a call out to see if any ISDs stick out as far as ISDs that we need to keep an eye on. Okay.
Okay, so this is something new and you will look for this in your email. Those of you who are here tonight, you've watched this Zoom link or you've watched this on Zoom, but everyone else is going to be receiving it in their email as well, so they have an opportunity. And we just want you to sign the form that we're sending you as a memorandum of understanding. Just that you understand by agreeing to be a chapter leader, these are expectations and requirements of you. And we're asking you to return this signed within 7 days. And this is because a lot of our chapters are not being active. And if you cannot be a chapter leader, I think most of you here want to be, you're here. But if you can no longer serve as chapter leader, you're not interested, you're not willing, you have health issues, something's changed. We need you to let us know, because we need to move our chapters forward. And we need you as chapter leaders to help us move them forward. So if it's not you, then we need to find someone else. But if you have 300 members, 100 members, we want to get them active. So please sign this form agreeing that you understand. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to any of you. But this is very important that we take the chapter leader position seriously. We're moving into 2024, and now's the time for us to have chapter leader meetings. Time for us to meet with our people and make sure that everyone is ready to move forward. It's just so important. We're putting a lot of effort in financially as well. We're paying a lot for Mobilize. We need to utilize it. Nancy's working on an app, not quite ready to introduce it yet, but we're spending so much time and money and energy. Chapters have to be worth the effort for us, or else we won't have chapters. And I hate to see our chapters go away. But we have to make it worth it for Mothers Against Greg Abbott. So please, please, please look for that in your email tomorrow.
Yeah. And so one of the other reasons is just making sure that we have active chapters, because if we send out an email to our active chapter and say, can you help volunteer and help with some of this data gathering that we're doing? That really helps us a lot, and it helps us get a lot of these things done that we need to get done, because I'm going to be totally honest, we should have been done with 3 of those lists by now, and we are barely done with 1. And we're now just incredibly behind. Like, we had planned all of this stuff to be done by September, because I was paying for a programmer for the first 2 weeks of September to do the data development, to get it up on a website in a usable form, so we can actually now have this directory available to everybody in Texas. And so we're incredibly behind. That's what we're dealing with, being incredibly behind. And it would have just been easier had I probably just emailed every single person in all of the chapters directly. But I thought the best thing to do was to email the chapter leaders and have you guys email your members, and then we kind of just go from there. I thought that was just the right process, but it really just didn't work because a lot of people didn't meet with their chapters this last month. So that meant that a lot of our work got even pushed behind of getting people to volunteer to help out with the list, which sometimes this summer's the downtime that a lot of people have, because they might be teachers and they might have some extra time here or there. So we're a little bit behind now, whereas before we were just right. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, but okay, let's move on.
Okay, I
Okay.
think that I'm done talking, so you can take over, Nancy.
Okay, so again, we need candidates to run for office. So this is just, again, like, there's all of these areas all over Texas where we just need people to run for office. So, if anybody who comes in that would like to run for office, just let them know, let us know. This is us. We did a Hill Country tour recently, and we've been speaking. There's Michelle. She's been speaking about filling in precinct chairs, and then the Blue Horizon PAC's been speaking about supporting local candidates. They're running in rural Texas. And then the 134 PAC is talking about providing grants to local candidates and as well as supporting people as county parties as well. So we are, oops, I'm sorry. So we're all touring all over the place and we're getting to know everyone. We are getting ready for this weekend. We hit the coastal bend. We are going to be in Lake Jackson, which is actually like Brazoria, Rockport, Harlingen, and McAllen. And so we're going to be hitting the road starting on Friday. And then I will not be back home until Monday. And I'm going to probably have to take a couple days off soon because I am really tired because I just feel like I work all the time. So I probably will take a couple of days off after I get back. But anyway, so that's what's going on there. We're going on this big tour. So if you know anybody in those areas that wants to join up with us, please let us know. Next is our Texas Ledge team. All of these folks, Susan, Ann,
I got it.
Jasmine, Joe.
Nancy, I
oh, you
got this one.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know if you were not
Yeah.
talking because you're sick. So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sick, but I got this, so thank you.
Mhm.
What you see here is a list of our amazing team leads for the 88th Texas Legislature. It was amazing. They reviewed over 9,000 bills. They tracked over 500 pieces of legislation in these 7 categories. They issued almost 100 calls to action. They showed up at the Capitol. They dropped cards. They made their voices heard, which in turn made your voices heard because they were speaking for us. So my hats off and kudos to everybody that's been on this team. They are still working. In fact, Susan is on the call tonight. So Susan, a big, huge thank you. But like I said, they are still working. So if you go to the next slide, what they've done since the legislature kind of closed really at the end of May, even though there's been a couple of special sessions, not a lot really has happened. Of course, the property tax relief bill was passed and finally signed by Governor Abbott. But what the team has been doing since is reviewing, the major bills and identifying how each legislator voted. And this actually happens to be Susan's scorecard. And so if you take a look at it, HB 3 was arming, making sure we had armed guards in schools. HB 5 was a corporate welfare bill that, would, attract businesses to Texas, but in the same breath, take money away from the schools in property taxes. HB 100 was, the bill that financed public schools and paid our teachers. HB 621 was a bill that it basically said anybody can be a teacher. If you're military, it doesn't matter what your background is, you can be a teacher. So some really horrible bills. HB 900 was a book banning bill. So every one of our team leads looked at the bills that we were tracking and then identified, how did that legislator vote? Did they vote against it? Did they vote for it? And so you can see, where our allies are and where our allies aren't. The other thing that they've done is they looked at, because a lot of bills don't see the light of day, right? They either are introduced and nothing ever happens with them, or they're introduced and they go to committee and then they die in committee. But you get a good sense of what a person is all about by what bills they author and co-author. And so for every one of our categories, again, those 7 categories, women, LGBTQ, gun safety, border, voting rights, energy, environment, and public education, we identified whether that legislator introduced any pro legislation or any anti legislation. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to take all of this information and we're going to develop mothers scorecards. So we're going to say, I'll pick on Tracy King. Tracy King, oh my gosh, F in LGBTQ, he made an A this time in gun safety because he introduced the raise the age bill from 18 to 21, but last session, he did permitless carry. He supported that. So we're going to go through, and we're going to still methodology to be determined, but we're going to go through, and Nancy's going to do two things. We're going to develop a report card, and she's going to go on some webinars and share those with the people of Texas. That should be fun. It's very, very
Also,
necessary.
Tracy Keene, somebody named Cecilia something today announced that she's running against Tracy King today.
Well, he retired. He's retired.
Yeah, he's not gonna run. Oh, yeah, he's
Yeah.
not running, but she's running as a Democrat for his seat.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a woman, so yay. From Uvalde, by the way.
Oh, so
Okay.
I thought this had been deleted, but this actually is Tracy King. So if you take his voting record and look at what he's done, barely did anything. I think he voted for the tampon tax and, some other stuff, but I mean, for the most part, didn't really do anything for women. Every single, trans bill, the trans athlete bill, the gender affirming, he voted for all of those. So absolutely an F in LGBTQ. I mentioned the gun safety, voting rights. I mean, he supported pulling out of ERIC, which is that cross-check on voter fraud. So, just not a great Democrat. So
Yep.
I think we're going to see a lot of that, as we pull the thread on
Yeah.
this report card. So excited about when that gets pulled together.
Okay, so that is probably what I'm gonna be working on next week, all week, is like nothing but report cards probably. So Neetha's here. She's here to help out your chapters. We really want you guys to start organizing your chapters now. This is the time that we organize because we have to build up our army. And so we really need you to help us find the volunteers so we can do the research that we need to do, build the list, maintain the list. If you happen to run into anybody who's running for office, if you can, or somebody who maybe should run for office, please ask them to run. And maybe they want to run for precinct chair. Please ask them to run. There was a really cute story about Nicole Collier and how she got started in politics from the event this weekend. She went to go vote with her daughter, and they're in the booth, and they noticed that there was no one listed as precinct chair as a Democrat on the ballot. So her daughter said something like, "Oh, there's nobody there. You should put in your name, mommy. Maybe you should run or something." And so as a joke with her daughter, she wrote her name, and little did she know that she won. She was the only person who was a write-in candidate, and she won. And she's just like, "Well, I wrote my name in. I guess I need to become a precinct chair." So she was just trying to please her daughter, accidentally wrote her name in there. Didn't accidentally, but didn't know what was going to happen. She wrote her name in there. She became a precinct chair, and next
It's an
thing
awesome
you know,
story.
running for house. I mean, that was such an awesome story. I thought it was fantastic. It was just a great story. So I really enjoyed that. And then anyway, and I just also I love Nicole Collier. She's really just wonderful in every way. Next thing is save the date for the Texas Democratic Convention. It's coming up, just so you guys know that. And then a couple things is that I actually wanted to talk to you guys about a couple things. First of all, we are going to have Operation Register to Vote. And I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to let you guys just look at me. Ta-da. Okay, Operation Register to Vote. We decided today, how they had these cute little stickers that they made for the Plan C pill. We are going to create stickers like this and print out thousands of them for voting. And it'll be the QR code is how to look up if you're registered to vote, or how you can look up where you can register to vote. And so we're going to do that and print out thousands of them and try to get armies of moms to go on to college campuses and go into buildings and ask college students to help us put these everywhere. If we're going by drive-throughs and you're right there, you know how sometimes they put stickers on those poles by drive-throughs, let's put these on there. Where people are going to see them and maybe, you know, get stuck waiting for their order and like be able to look up the QR code.
And we
So
decided we're not going to put our name on it.
we're not going to put our name on it. I think we're just going to do that because the last thing I want to do is get reamed for like littering or something like that. You know what I mean? And then we'll end up with a bunch of bad publicity and I just don't want to do that. So, and
when
it,
we had this campaign, for that need to be unpregnant, I was going on a brewery tour in San Antonio. So I took those stickers with me and every brewery got a sticker in their bathroom. So just be creative, give them out to your members and we can plaster the whole state with this QR code.
Yeah.
on how to vote.
yeah, absolutely. So yes, as Cindy said, Chris Tackett has great information on his Facebook page. Yeah, yes, Cindy, we actually have been working with Chris Tackett. We actually sent Chris Tackett access to all of our information, and then he focused on his Christian nationalist viewpoints and the bills that were important for him from a Christian nationalist point of view. Ours are just different. They're not the same as Chris's. So, but we have collaborated with Chris and we've been working together this entire time for the last few like months and stuff on the report card. His wife is part of our report card team. So she's going to be part of the webinar when we announce it and we review like the status of how everyone did. She's going to be part of that team, which is going to be great. Okay, so moving on to the next thing is that we also need a group organized for social justice. I think there's opportunities for people to help out with social justice. There's opportunities for people to help out with libraries because those crazy far righters that have been banning books in schools have now moved into our public libraries. And you know what, enough is enough. This is freaking ridiculous. And we have to push back, which means we have to show up. So we need somebody leading up the library push, and we need somebody just leading that whole entire thing up, getting organized, doing it whatever we can to put out the information about what is happening and what events we need to show up at. But I saw Erin, I saw your hand up, but when we decide that we're going to sponsor an event, we need somebody from our group to actually show up at events because there's press there. So we need to make sure that somebody signed up. I'll tell you something, we were able to get the Truth Texas Project. They had to move their event like 3 or 4 times. We were able to get their event moved several times, but then on the day of the event, no one showed up to protest across the street. And you know who noticed? They noticed. They were expecting a crowd of people to show up to protest. So they kind of gave me a hard time for a day online on Twitter, but I was in Chicago. I mean, I wasn't going to show up because I was in Chicago. Like I had that planned way long before they put their thing together. So, but that's why it's important for us to use Mobilize. It's important for us to get out the word. It's important for us to have active chapter leaders, because when we do not have active chapter leaders that are telling everybody what's going on, then people aren't showing up. And we can't say that we're trying to be everywhere, we're showing up and we're anti this and then like have nobody show up. Like it was just not great. Okay, next is we know that not everybody's going to want to support on state issues. So if some people want to lead up the Biden-Harris campaign of what they're doing for 24 and post some things in our group, we would love leadership there. And then also we would love leadership on helping us collect the data that we need for Ted Cruz. So we need help with that as well. And okay, and I don't know if you guys saw our new websites. Do you guys want to see them? Did you guys see our new websites? Hold on a second. Let
While
me go
you're pulling
to,
that up, Nancy, I'm just going to talk because Teresa asked us to talk about the Brave Books events this weekend. We are not doing anything in particular. If certain chapters want to do something, they're welcome to do that. But we are not holding any statewide. We know it's going on. And we did one in Cedar Park, and we did get press. We had both the KUT, the NPR station, and KXAN, big TV station, came and interviewed us. So there was press. So be prepared if you do attend and you're representing Mothers Against Greg Abbott, be prepared to speak on our behalf.
Okay, so here's the new Mothers for Democracy Action Pack website. And it features Kristen Sinema and Ted Cruz, because we're going to be going after them. And this is where it is. And then right now, we're just taking donations. We will add to this page as we get our ads up, or as we get more calls for action. We will get that up there. And then we also have our mothersfordemocracy.org. This webpage will be up in the next few days. I think we're going to have to add another day to this, because I didn't get any of my deliverables done today. I got a little bit sidetracked this morning, and I haven't been able to get on track again. So, but we have a new website coming out this week, hopefully by this weekend. So it'll be on mothersfordemocracy.org. And then next weekend, Mothers for Democracy Institute launches next week. So every single week we have a new website launching, and then pretty soon we'll have all of them. But that is what's going on there. And then Mothers Against Greg Abbott, I'm going to show you guys. Let me show you guys. We have new swag. I don't know if have you guys, did we see this last time? Did we see the new page? Or this is all new, right? We have a new website. So this is a new website. It is all new, but we have some very cool new swag in our store. So let's take a look at that. Let's go straight to the t-shirts. We have a new t-shirt, A Woman's Place is in the Dome, which is fantastic. And then this one, All Shades of Blue make our party stronger. I like that t-shirt a lot. It's really cute. And then this one, The Swing Back is Coming. It's just like, get ready, Republicans, we're coming. We have, vote is a verb, which we had posted online, which is adorable t-shirt. Look at that. It's so cool. And then we also have a bunch of stuff in mugs and a few other things. So let me go back. We have we have bandanas now, we have bags, we have mugs, we have buttons, we have all kinds of stuff. So it is, we have a new store. So go in there and take a look around. We also have a new logo. We got rid of the baby because a lot of people are complaining that they felt like it was too pro-life-ish. So the baby is now gone, but we are getting rid of
fire sale.
Yeah, this is our fire sale. We're getting rid of a lot of our old swag, and as soon as it's gone, it's gone. But then this is like the new swag. And what else? I mean, the yard sign, we have a new yard sign. And that's about it. But we are going to, Mothers for Democracy is going to have a store, and Mothers Against Greg Abbott is going to have a store. There's going to be two stores. The mothersfordemocracy.org will have a store. So that's why it's taking us a long time to get it up, because we're in the middle of doing new development of new products, as well as getting all the website content up. But anyway, so that's what's going on with that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, there's some questions. Where do we start? By TED instructions. Okay, so let's
I'm
talk about-
answering. I'm answering them, Nancy. So go.
Oh, okay. So is there anybody else that has a question or want to wrap up, or what should we do? Do anybody have questions? You guys can unmute
I
yourself.
have a quick question, I hope.
Sure.
I'm working on, validating and verifying members so that I know that they're not, say, Moms for Liberty people trying to get into the
Mhm.
group. And I'm trying to figure out what is the very best and succinct way to handle it. I've got almost 400 people that I'm needing to verify. Is the group that I had, I didn't start the Facebook group that I'm working with to make them official, so that of course we can move them off of Facebook and into the app, but they have to be checked out first. The person that I kind of, absorbed this group from, did zero. Like it's just has been wide open. Anybody could join, anybody, like it's very unsafe. And up here in Montgomery County, I've had a lot of people who are members who are very hesitant to go to an in-person meeting until the group that is invited to that meeting and is aware of that meeting has been vetted. Is there a way, like, can I, because it's very, very time consuming and I'm just one mom with a full-time job and, trying to do a lot. Is there, like, should I funnel them to the main group so that if they're not already in the main group, that they have to get validated through the main group and then they can join the chapter? Would that be a good way of handling it? Because I'm trying to get this done so I can set a date so that I can have my boot Ted
I
Cruz
think, Neetha, I think the
thing.
best way is that get added onto Erin's page, and then you guys just like look at the list and take on a few a day, and then check to see if you find them on the Reach app, and whoever you don't find on the Reach app, message them. I mean, we have to just make sure that they're like, they registered to vote, they're actually like a real person.
Okay.
That stuff,
then-
like, do
and
you
if-
guys
And if
do you guys
they're,
have common friends, that sort of thing?
yes, and that's where I'm hung up, is people that
You can-
have not a single common friend. They're not in
Yeah,
any
you
of
can
the
look
liberal
people up in
groups.
Van.
It's like, yeah. And even then, Neetha can speak to this. There was one, it's like, okay, and so they voted in the
Mhm.
Republican primary and they voted in a Democrat primary. And the Facebook is clean like a Russian bot. So it's like,
Yeah. Well, Cindy's putting down some information. She said you can check their voting history through Van or
right,
Minivan.
but all we can see on the voting history is whether or not, because I'm a precinct chair, so I have Van. All we can
Mhm.
see is what, we can't see their actual voting record. All we can see is the, help me out here, everybody, not enough coffee today.
If they voted in
The
a
run, in a
what
primary,
primary
thank
they
you.
voted in.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you, Kimberly. Yes, all we can see is if they voted in a primary, and if they didn't vote in a primary, then it's, flip a coin. Because we don't have that kind of access in Texas to voting records.
With the Van though, with Van, you can see other things, like you can see how they voted in a primary, which helps you with their partisanship. But also, people have contacted them in the past, and sometimes you can see in their voter files in Van that they've been contacted and they answered a survey question like, are you strong support for Beto, for example? So
Right, yeah.
so
but
some of those were helpful to the survey question.
Yeah, and I know all of that because I've done all the block walking for Beto and I used Van extensively, and of course, being a precinct chair, I have all of that access. But what the issue is when there's nothing in there to go by. I can't go by anything I'm seeing in social media. I can't go by anything that I'm seeing in Van. I've looked on Reach, there's no additional information there. So, I'm politely declining and suggesting that they reach out to their precinct chair and I get them that information of whoever their precinct chair is and have them get involved at that level, because I'm hesitant to add them to the group.
Yeah, I think in this instance, then err on the side of caution and don't let them in.
Yeah, that's.
Like we looked at
that's-
that one together and they had voted Democrat one year, Republican the other, which many people do. But-
Sure.
With no social media presence or anything that we can see, like that particular one, then just don't let them in.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Erin, if you reject someone, but then they try to come back, like I think that's a sign too, like if they're like really eager to get involved or.
Hey,
they're
everybody
like,
loves us, Kimberly. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm so
Well-
cute. Like, why would they not want to be involved and get in my group? And I mean, who doesn't love all of us, right? So, but so that's why I'm kind of using the precinct chairs as that buffer. If they're genuinely wanting to be involved, then get involved locally with your precinct chair. And if that manifests into something real, then I'm willing to relook at that person. But if that precinct chair has never ever heard from that person after they've been politely declined, then it's like, yeah, that's a no-go to me. That screams moms of liberty all over the place, as far as like my opinion, because they're out here pretty thick and they're working real hard to get inside our group.
Yeah, you work hard, so it's your discretion. If you
Okay.
cannot prove it, then just don't let them in, because like you said,
Okay.
you want your place to be a space safe, so.
Yeah, I really want it to be a safe space so that I can get more, in-person participation. I don't want anybody to feel like if they come to a meeting in person that they're going to go outside and find, their vehicle damaged, or that they'll be in some kind of physical peril. And that's been a concern that's been voiced to me. I'm up here in Montgomery. I'll remind everybody that the very first rally Trump had after the pandemic was in Conroe, less than 10 miles from my house. So we're scared. I'm one of the brave ones that has a Mothers Against Greg Abbott sticker on my car and wears the shirts and puts the sign out in my yard. I'm one very rare person up here.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working it. I'm
Well,
working it.
thank you. Thank you for being brave. I know we all
you.
have to be brave right now.
Yes, I'm
We have
very
to.
brave.
We have to. Yeah, there's no choice. We have to. I mean,
Yeah, and that's
we
why
do
I'm
whatever we
organizing
can.
this thing with the libraries, because I'm wanting us to be visible. Like, we've
Yeah.
got to get out and be visible and wear a
Mhm.
pride shirt, wear something about, I read banned books, separation of church and state shirt, like something, wear something
Mhm.
that you're comfortable and can go out in public and there's going to be more than one of you, I'll be there too, kind of a thing. And just getting people to
Mhm.
be present and get comfortable in their skin and in our shirts, right? And buy more shirts.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Well, thank you all so much. Is there anyone else who has any questions?
Hi, everyone. I'm Fabiola. I'm new in McAllen, in the McAllen area. Can't wait to meet you in person. I am working really hard I'm talking to organizers. It seems like some groups have disbanded, but I'm still working. I was getting texts right now from people. I'm asking, what's your contact? Send me your contacts to invite them to make sure and then go to your event, to our event on Sunday. I'm working hard. I started a little bit slow, just getting to know things, getting my way around, but the meetings are extremely helpful. So I can't wait to meet up with you guys on Sunday. Thank you for all you
Can't wait to
do.
meet you. Oh yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for organizing and your enthusiasm right now. It's really greatly appreciated. So I really appreciate your help. Anyone else? All right. Well, thanks everybody for showing up today. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of great work to do, and we really need to rally in all of these volunteers to help out as much as possible. So I appreciate everybody's help. You all have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna go water my plants.
Bye-bye.
Thanks
Bye.
everyone. Thanks, Nancy.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Neetha.
Bye-bye.